Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up.
Some pyro going, and all of a sudden, the next thing you know, the whole thing went up.
It's in the deadliest U.S. nightclub fire in decades.
Is an LA-based band headed up by lead singer Jack Russell.
Because I actually wanted to see the show. I didn't want to get stuck in the back corner of the bar. If I was going to stay, I wanted to see the show up close.
News of the fire would break around 11:15. Vague at first. A fire at a nightclub with reports of people trapped.
What do you see?
There's flames from all over the building. The entire building is in flames right now.
Right now is really quite grim. They are in the process of removing the bodies that they found by the front door of the club.
Reporting all morning, a horrible scene at a nightclub in Rhode Island.
The club's owners issued a statement contradicting the band leader's assertion that they had okayed the use of pyrotechnics.
And I lay there and I must have passed out. But I really thought I died.
Now a command center is open for friends and families as they search for their loved ones.
I remember seeing a guy pulling me through the window. And I said, thank you so much, thank you so much. And I said, I'm gonna die, aren't I? And he said, no, but I have to go back in. There's more people that need my help.
And this was a firefighter or a rescue or just a
I think he was just an ongoer. Just helping everyone out.
So we started headed towards the exit next to the stage, and saw the band was jumping off, and then one of the bouncers grabbed Donna by the shoulders and held her back into me and told her that was for the band only. And that we had to wait to get out the front door.
Russell tells Target 12 the pyrotechnics that are blamed for starting the fire were planned for just the opening song.
A really small part of the show. I wish to God, we never would have even thought of it.
We probably walked about 6 steps when the flashover occurred, and the flames just shot from the stage straight down the other end of the building.
I said, let's just grab this merchandise off this front table and throw it behind us, but grab the CD box. We're going to use this to get out the stage door so no one stops us. We're going to say, hey, we've got the band's merchandise. And in the few seconds that her and I did that, it was too late to go to the stage door. It was completely engulfed over there. The stuff was dropping from the ceiling.
The fireworks or pyrotechnics went off, and I remember being surprised that they had that. And then I saw in the ceiling where there was a fire starting. So I grabbed my best friend's hand. We looked at each other and we just started to head out. We got probably not quite to the door when all the lights went out.
And we got to that fire exit and there was a bouncer standing in front of the door. And Fred is screaming, "There's a fire, open the door, there's a fire." And the bouncer just stood there and said, no, the door was for the band only, that it was club policy. At this point, half the ceiling is on fire. The lights are starting to shatter from the heat. It looked like a stampede, something out of a National Geographic. It was just, let's go to that door. If you came in it, you knew that door.
I know it is. Hey, no me, come on, hey! On TV, man! It's gonna be a great show, but we're waiting patiently. I know it is. Oh no, everything's preset. Hey, no me, come on, hey! On TV, man! It's gonna be a great show, but we're waiting patiently. What is this? What is this? What's on it? There he comes.
Tell me about going to the club that night. Why did you go?
I want to see Great White. It's like my 7th time seeing him.
You're a big fan of the band.
I wouldn't say big fan. I'm a big fan of 80s music and just music in general. I love music. I'm constantly going to shows. I don't have any addictions except music. Music and wrestling are my only addictions.
You weren't drinking?
I don't drink. I don't drink at all.
Where were you standing when they began performing?
I was about maybe 3 or 4 feet back from the stage and about 3 or 4 feet to the left of Jack Russell.
So you were right up front?
Oh, I was right up front, yes. I was making a point to get right up front.
So when he hit the stage, it was pretty exciting.
Oh, it was unbelievable. The place went nuts.
Mike had seen other bands use pyrotechnics, but never Great White. What did you think when you saw the pyro?
When I saw the pyro, I was like, oh, wow, they're, stepping up their game and just adding more to their stage presence, which they didn't need to do.
But your first reaction was?
Cool, of course. You start seeing things like that, like, oh, wow, cool.
Seconds after Great White started to play, sparks ignited the soundproofing material behind the stage. Mike shouted a warning, his immediate concern for the band. You actually yelled?
Yeah, just everybody was yelling, turn around. Everybody was yelling, turn around, check it out, turn around, turn behind you, because they're facing us, and the flames are behind them. They saw us, they didn't see the flames, so at that point, that's when Jack Russell turned around. The only words we heard him say were, that can't be good. That's when they whisked him off stage. And when I saw that happen, I hadn't seen anybody grabbing for any fire extinguishers or anything like that. I knew that they were going to let that burn. I knew that they weren't going to try and do anything.
Realizing the danger, he began moving away from the stage, working his way through the crowd, back toward the front entrance of the club. Were you hurrying? Were you...
No, I stayed calm, because I figured the doorway, it's not a big club, and I wasn't, when you start walking towards the door, it's not that far away.
And was it getting smoky?
Yes. Before the lights went out, gray smoke came across the room, and right behind the gray smoke was flames. When the lights went out, that's when the panic hit.
So a crush has begun.
Oh, the crowd was
moving toward the door.
People started screaming, get out, get out, get out. People started pushing and shoving. That's when I got pushed down, and I fell down against the wall. And I just...
From the crush of people behind you?
Yes. As soon as I fell. And I could feel the people and the pressure building up on me. And it was just the bodies piling one on top of another, just trying to get out. I said, oh my God, I don't want to die like this. But then I realized panicking is not going to help me out of this. So the best thing to do, and my best chance to survive, is to stay calm.
And what kind of a position were you in?
I was on my side. I always knew never lay on your stomach or lay on your back, because you can suffocate, you won't be able to breathe. At least on your side, you can still breathe.
So you were in kind of a fetal position?
Yes.
At the bottom of this pond?
I was in a fetal position, with my knees up against the wall. I started feeling embers and stuff burning on me, on my left leg. It wasn't painful. It was more irritating than anything.
Could you move?
No, I was wedged in there. I was wedged in there. I had like my hands up like this. I was able to like, move stuff away from my face if I needed to. And I had like a small little air pocket right in front of me.
And what about the people who were on top of you and around you?
That's the part that was really, really troublesome. They were just screaming in pain and, from anger, it turned to fear.
Get off me! You're not. Hey! Get this blood out of here so we get the blood coming in here. Get this blood out of here. They kill us, back. Anybody inside? Jimmy, just come here. Multiple deaths in this thing. You gotta get people down here. No!
And there's got to be 50 people still left inside that thing dead. This is not good. I'm out of there. I'm out in the parking lot. The fire department's here already. I mean, what happened happened. She put out that fire just so she
What's your horse, Billy? Bring him on!
shot. Take that way. Fire on the command, jam that rescue. Negative, I haven't seen him yet. I'm right in front of the building. Tell him to charge as soon as you can. We could have died of smoking inhalation in that's how bad it was. Thank God we were sitting near the door. Right near the door. They actually had the video on TV. Not in there. Listen, sit tight. We got
And the band's tour manager were held responsible, but a plea agreement meant there was no trial. Now they're telling their side of the story for the first time on CBS's 48 Hours.
Why are you sitting here talking to me? We wanted the full story to come out, not just some of it, and that for people who want to come to their own conclusion on what happened.
There is more legal trouble for one of the co-owners of the station nightclub. The Providence Journal reports that Michael Zadarian, seen here at a previous court date, is accused of falling behind on court-ordered child support payments. His ex-wife is asking a judge to send him to jail until he pays up. Zadarian's lawyer tells the Journal he does not owe any more money.
If you were in there 90 seconds after that first fire started, you did not survive. And really, the ripple effects felt by thousands in New England. It was believed that the legal capacity of the nightclub was 300 people. And that was reported for weeks. And we didn't find out until months later that the legal capacity was actually 404. Well, this makes a difference because if it's 300, then they were clearly over that number and they had been breaking the law. But it wasn't 300. It was more than 400. And there's a question about whether or not they really exceeded the legal capacity.
How long did they serve?
The twist of this story that had not been reported was that they allowed one of them to stay free and one of them to go to prison. And the way the deal worked was that the state basically said they would decide amongst themselves which of the two brothers would be the one to serve. And so there's a scene in the book where we see them at a Dunkin' Donuts where they're having this discussion about who's going to be the one better suited for prison. And they decide that Michael is. I think for Jeffrey, I think that this kind of brings it full circle. You mentioned that Jeffrey was a TV news reporter in Boston. Jeffrey was the type of aggressive TV news reporter who chased the bad guys down the street. And so it was a real reversal of fortune for him suddenly to find himself being accused of being the bad guy and being chased down the street. And he said to me repeatedly that he always wanted to talk because he always felt that the people who didn't talk when he was a reporter, he always concluded, well, they must be hiding something. They must be guilty. So he wanted to talk.
After we were done, I tore my drums down. I stacked them up. I watched the entire, I'm saying this innocently because I didn't know this at the time, but I'm watching them set up the pyrotechnics, thinking about this is going to be great. Great White comes up. They didn't even get, I think it was this, I don't want to say Desert Storm. It was something.
Yeah,
desert.
it was Desert Storm, opening number.
Was it?
Yep.
Okay, so they didn't even get into, I don't even think Jack Russell got to sing. And, I don't drink when I play because I don't want to get sloppy. So I probably was the only sober one there, and I'm leaning on this box that says explosives, which that's way ahead of the story. But long and short, the fire catches on the left side. You can watch this on YouTube. The video is actually still up there. Mm-hmm. And the fire started on the left side of the stage. And when pyrotechnics go off like a sparkler, it's like a whitish type of a color. Well, this was yellow and orange. And I don't know why, a God-given thing or whatever it was, I sensed danger. I don't know why. And I ran out the side stage door, and I ran over to the front knowing that's where my wife was. And, people are kind of walking out. I'm just kind of grabbing arms. Still none of this is processing that anything's bad. It was just a sense that I can't explain. And I just started pulling these arms out. My wife was like the fifth or sixth one. I pulled her up into the parking lot, and I said, don't move. Don't effing move.
Yeah.
And by the time I got back up to the door, the heat was so bad. So now I'm fast forwarding quite a bit. There was a DJ bet down here called Dr. Metal from 94 HJY. And he died, half my band died in the fire, and 10 friends.
Oh.
So basically, you had, if you watch the video, you had exactly 88 seconds to get out or you were dead, because the last person to walk out was was 2 seconds short of a minute and a half.
Wow, that's incredible.
So
unbelievable.
It didn't process. And I'm like, Steve and Keith Mancini were my bass player and my guitar player. And I'm like, where's Steve? Where's Keith? And just nobody. So just, I can talk about it comfortably now, but it's sometimes I look back at it, like I was looking at some pictures on Google, just because of the anniversary, and I'm looking at these bodies, stacked up in the doorway and stuff like that. And the funny thing is, you as a human, you shut down certain senses. It's a protective thing for your brain. And I genuinely can stand here and talk to you all day about the sites, but I actually, when I'm telling the story, it's more like I'm hearing it from other people, because I don't really remember. I remember seeing it, but I don't remember. I remember the sounds, the screams, and that kind of thing, but I don't really remember the sights. And Kevin Beasy, the station manager at the time, is like, he goes, what are you talking about? You don't remember? He goes, a ball of fire came running out of the building. He goes, and we both grabbed him and threw him into the snowbank to put the fire out. I said, dude, I don't remember. So I shut that kind of stuff down. Where my wife remembers all the sights, but she doesn't remember any smells. She doesn't remember any sounds. So it's funny how your brain works. Everyone's different.
That isn't.
And the funny thing is too, there's a book on Amazon called The Killer Show. It's a really big seller. Our names are throughout that book. I think it's from a lawyer's perspective, some of the legal stuff. But my wife and I were actually going to buy the club. So, questions arose. Dude, that could have been you.
Yeah.
And it's easy to say, no, it wouldn't have. But it wouldn't have, because I'm not going to get into any legal stuff, but I wouldn't have had that stuff on there. But they had quoted me in the papers as saying, when you saw them push up the pyrotechnics up against the foam, did you think that was odd? Because they were thinking that this person, whether he did or didn't, I don't know. I can't speculate. That he had permission by the club to put the pyrotechnics in the building. We don't know. I don't know, honestly.
Stop